Hello YouTube, Chris Klein here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, and today we're going to look at Arturia's Keystep and Behringer's analog synthesizer, the Neutron. Now the Keystep is 32 keys, slim keys. It's an arpeggiator, a sequencer, and it also has a ton of options for connectivity. So if I bring this up really quickly, you can see that we have our standard MIDI in and out, and the out is feeding the in to my Neutron right now. But we also have CV outputs, mod, gate, pitch. We also have a sustained input and a sync out and in that will play really, really well with the Korg Volcas if you have those. So lots of options here, as well as USB. Now the USB is actually sending power to the Keystep, but if you need to, you can actually plug in a 9-volt wall wart as well for your power supply. It's very small, it's built well, has aftertouch, and it does all kinds of really, really great things, which we're going to explore here in a second. The Neutron from Behringer is a semi-modular analog synthesizer, but in many ways it's also a fixed architecture synthesizer in that you can follow the signal path and you can dial things in without ever coming over here to the patch bay. Now the patch bay, having all these ins and outs, allows you a lot of other flexibility for sound design, for communicating with other devices. If you have a Eurorack setup, if you want to use the CV outs from here, you can patch them into here to get all kinds of different sounds, effects to modulate the synthesizer in ways that you normally couldn't using the facilities right here without the patch bay. It's really flexible. So at the heart of it, we have two 3340 VCOs, which are similar to the Curtis 3340 VCO, which was very, very popular back in the 70s and 80s. We can go in between the different waveforms with great ease. I just press a key and we're going to hear a sawtooth as soon as I press the key. And we can move in between the various shapes. So sawtooth, triangle, sine, back to triangle, sawtooth, pulse, and then something that they call a tone mod, which is very much like a pulse or square as well. Really, really cool. Now again, we have two oscillators. We can blend between the two. Ooh, and they're slightly detuned right now. Sounds cool. Let's get them in the same range. There we go. Let's detune them. Very cool. Now we can actually sync the oscillators. And if I tweak the oscillator, it's very similar to changing the pulse width, right? We're just retiming this oscillator, oscillator 2 with oscillator 1. Now we can also switch into paraphonic mode, which if I press one key, both oscillators are going to fire. Let's get them in tune. If I press another key, I'm actually going to get two pitches, which is quite nice. Really, really cool. Now we can also manipulate the width of our waveforms. Let's change. Go all the way right here. Now you can really hear it changing the width of the shape, which is really, really quite nice. Let's blend the two again. Moving over to our right, we have our voltage controlled filter, and we have three different flavors here, right? So we have our low pass, band pass, and high pass. So let's go ahead and bring up our resonance and see just how much this filter can scream. Now it is 12 dB per octave. Go to bandpass. Sorry. Our high pass. Pretty cool. Now, as we move down, we have our modulation depth, which is going to speak to or inform our LFO. Now, the mod depth on here, or the voltage controlled filter and the LFO are tied together, I should say. So if we bring the mod depth up, let's go ahead and go back down to our low pass. So now we're listening to our LFO. As I bring the depth up, you can actually hear more of it happen. And we can change the LFO from sine to triangle to sawtooth 1 to pulse square to sawtooth 2. And if we turn it up all the way, it starts to oscillate in pitches. Pretty cool. Very powerful. Now we can also key track our filter. So as we go lower, of course, we can hear more of the resonance. Really, really great. Now the envelope depth, well, that's going to influence what's happening with envelope 2. Now we have two envelopes here, envelope 1 and envelope 2, both 80SR, but envelope 1 relates to the amplitude envelope of our oscillator. You can hear it changing as I move the attack up. Envelope 2 and the effect on the filter. Let's turn the key tracking off. Really cool. Super flexible. Now let's move up to our delay circuit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mix up. It's a great delay circuit, and it's very analog in nature. It almost sounds like heavy tape saturation. And as I manipulate the time, you'll notice that the pitch changes. Let's bring our repeats up. Let's bring it up really high because you can take this to really, really cool places. Oh, so cool. So much fun. Now there's also a noise circuit. So you can use the noise for percussive effects, or if you're trying to do other sound design elements, wind, explosions. It's really up to you and what you hear in your head and how well you can manipulate all these different controls. Now there's also a drive circuit. I'm going to take it easy on this because it can run away from you really quickly. And you can change the tone of it as well. All right. So I had mentioned the sequencer on the Keyscape. Let's take a look at how this works. Let's slow that down. Turn the delay off. So I can go ahead and I can change the division or the rate by moving this knob. So this is going to give us more coarse control. This gives us fine control. So I've stopped the sequencer, obviously. Let's talk about what we can do with our pitch and our mod when we're using this in conjunction with the Neutron. So now, if I manipulate this pitch strip, which is capacitance based, I'm going to turn the delay off. I'm going to manipulate the pitch, right? And basically what's happening is the MIDI is being converted into voltage. But if I do anything with the mod, it's not going to do anything, right? Not yet, at least. So let's try this out. We're going to go ahead and make a patch. And what we're going to do is we're going to come out of the mod out on the Keystep. We're going to bring it into the mult in, right? And then we have two mults out. So we're going to go ahead and take these out. Mult out 1, mult out 2. And then we're going to go into our pulse width, right? So now, when I touch the mod strip, I'm manipulating the pulse width for both oscillators. Really, really cool. Now, if I have this hooked up to my DAW, Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic, Fruity Loops, I can actually sequence what I'm doing with the mod strip, right? So when it plays back, it's going to modulate the pulse width with whatever I've done over here, which is really nice. Now we can also play up and down the keyboard while we have a sequence running. Change the key real fast. Now, if we want it to swing, I can press down the shift key, and now we're swinging. Super flexible. Let's actually turn the swing off. Now, creating a sequence on here is really, really easy. And the best way to do it I have found so far, at least for me, is in step mode. So all I do is I press the record button and then I play some keys. Rest. Stop and then play. Oscillator sync. Pretty cool. width now. Now when we take it out of oscillator sync, it's going to be all out of tune and weird. There we go. Paraphonic. Same result almost. Really, really cool. Now, let's go ahead and patch oscillator 2, the output, into oscillator 1, and see what happens. Oh yeah, now it's getting real crazy. So now, I'm controlling the pulse width, and the pulse width is having an influence from oscillator 2 over to oscillator 1. So much fun. What if we take oscillator 2 and go into shape 1? And you can actually see how the oscillator is influencing the wave shape. Pretty cool. So as you can tell, the possibilities are endless. And this rig right here will cost you under $450. Now, some of the really, really big, better known analog synthesizers get as high as $3,500 to $4,000, and that's for a monophonic synthesizer. This is not only a contender, I mean, in many ways it's better than some of those really, really expensive analog synthesizers. There's so much flexibility here, so much you can do. And this controller, Arturia really knocked this out of the park because you can do so much with it. It's portable, it has all kinds of connectivity, the built-in sequencer and arpeggiator. It's just fun for days and days and days. And with a setup like this, especially having a semi-modular type of setup, you're never going to get bored whenever you sit down with this because the possibilities are, they are limitless. It's very, very cool. And I know that I have spent many, many hours with it already myself, and I still haven't discovered all that it can do. I probably never will. So I hope you enjoy this. There's a lot of information to take in here with both of these devices. We just kind of touched the surface. I mean, we could do hours and hours of tutorials with this setup right here, and I'm going to actually jump in later on and do some more advanced patching with this. But for now, I think you have a really, really good idea of what these two devices can do together. Now, you don't need to buy these together. You can buy the Neutron by itself. You can actually put it into your Eurorack setup. It comes with the power cable. So you can take this out of its the rack that it comes with, and you can plug it into your Eurorack setup that you already have, if you have one, assuming that you do. This right here is going to work really, really well with your DAWs. If you are on the go and you only have your laptop and this controller with you, you're going to be super, super pleased with how much this can do for you. Especially if you're trying to get ideas down real fast, or if you're working on an iPad or an iPhone or any iOS or Android device that has MIDI capabilities. This is also going to be very, very powerful for you. So I'm super pleased with this setup, and I'm having a lot of fun with it all the time. Hopefully you've gotten something out of this. If you haven't, if you want to know more, please leave your comments below. Be sure to subscribe. We're a brand new channel. We're part of the Alma Music Center family in San Antonio. We have other channels as well that focus on guitars and pianos and keyboards. Please seek those out. But we will come back more with videos like this that are going to be kind of a review / instructional in a sense. So we hope that you do subscribe. And I guess that's it for now. Once again, I'm Chris Klein with Alma Music in San Antonio. And happy programming. Talk to you soon. Bye.